Can your business structure handle growth? It may not be the first thing that comes to mind when starting or building a business, but it can influence the dynamics of things. To make sense of it all, to make sense of this conversation, we've brought two incredible speakers who will guide us through this process of the conversation. Joining us today are Excellent and Roqeebat. Welcome to this very episode on The Brief. It's such a delight having both of you with us today. All right, so let's get right into it. So before we talk about whether a business structure can handle growth, let's start with the basics. What do lawyers actually mean when they talk about business structure? And what are some common examples?
Right. So business structure basically has to do with the legal and organizational framework that guides how a business operates, right? It controls how the business is owned, how it is managed, and how it is built in order to support its growth or expansion. And it can take different forms, right? It could be a small business that is operating as a private limited company, you as a small business owner, building a private company, right? And maybe if you want to expand, you can still do that as a private limited company, and you have a holding company, and then you have subsidiaries that engage in different businesses. Or it could even be a special purpose vehicle, which is established for maybe a specific project that you want to embark on, a specific transaction, right? It could be any structure. The main point is that you have to look at the objective you are trying to achieve, the goal you are trying to achieve, and then based on that goal or that objective of that your business, you will know how to structure it to ensure that you're able to meet up with that your future goal. That's what business structure is.
No, I would just like to point out from what Roqeebat had mentioned, that for business structuring, three things you should note: organization, management, and ownership. So for the organization, what is the structure that we are going with? Is it being organized as an SPV, as an SPCV, as a limited liability company, as a business? What's the other one? Business name, whatever ownership mechanisms that you, sole proprietorship, whatever ownership mechanism or partnership that you want to go into. For the ownership, are we owning this business directly or indirectly? There's something we call UBOs, that's ultimate beneficial owners. So those are people that you don't see, they are behind the scenes, so they have indirect ownership in the business. So and then we have management, those that call the shots, the how and when this business is running. So these three things are things that the viewer should note about business structuring.
All right. With what you've said, is this something only large corporations need to worry about, or should smaller businesses be thinking about it too?
Yes, of course, it's all businesses that need to think about the structuring, because the structuring has to do with how your business is built in order to achieve whatever aim or whatever objective you set out with engaging in that business. So it's not just for large corporations, small business owners too have to ensure that and it doesn't necessarily have to be a sophisticated structure. It could be anything. It could be a sole proprietor, it could be a partnership, you and your friend engaging in a partnership and
Just
doing
like we have
business.
said.
That's just.
All right. So we've talked about what a business structure is. Looking at some of the world's most successful businesses, what do they teach us about the relationship between growth and business structure?
Well, first thing I'll take the lead on this one. First thing that I would like to point out is that if you take a survey of these world's most successful businesses, you see that there is usually a pattern, not a one-size-fits-all. First off, to put that out there. So there's no one-size-fits-all for business structuring. The same or similar businesses in the same industry may have different structure and still do really well. A structure that works in a particular industry may not work in another. It may or may not work in another. So it's dynamic to each business and each sector. However, for successful business, you just see that they follow a particular pattern. Either, this is what works for us, this is where we are going to, this is how we will achieve our goal, and then they just work towards that. For example, SpaceX. So Elon's SpaceX was, I think, founded way back as 2002 to produce rockets and space technology. And so you see that over the years, 20 years down the line, the ownership, management, and the organization had moved the company from point zero where they are to a company that has a market cap and valuation of over $1 trillion. The company wanting to expand into 2023, 2022 AI rounds. AI is making the round, so let's also venture into this. Should we use SpaceX? Should we not use SpaceX? We set up XAI. So XAI is just the arm that deploys the AI technology, makes uses these chips that are being made, robots and all of that. 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, that company is also doing well, being structured and on its own, also doing well. And we see that it had over a valuation of $250 billion. Fast forward to 2026, the company goes back to drawing board. Oh, this XAI needs a lot of money to keep on running. These chips are not cheap and all of that. Chips are not cheap. So I don't know that. And then the company SpaceX acquires 100% of XAI and restructures. So it's not a one-size-fits-all thing. Okay, talking about Elon, let's talk about Tesla. Tesla Inc. in 2018, they had a performance-based PBI, performance-based incentive that the company used to grow. So Elon was at the forefront of it all. Move the company from the current valuation to about 650 billion in 10 years. If you can do this, you're going to earn a performance-based incentive. At that time, it was over 50 billion. And Google had record that, the incentive that he would have been the first person to have that kind of incentive in the entire world. And the incentive that Elon was entitled to was bigger than the Nigerian stock market, the entire Nigerian stock market at the time. So you can imagine, that's the structure. So the structure that SpaceX XAI was using is not the structure that Tesla Inc. is using. So Tesla Inc., you know that Tesla Inc., they have self-drive too, and that self-drive model, they use AI. So but they are using dynamic structures. So the people will say, but the performance-based incentive was, they had pushbacks from shareholders because in 2022, Elon was able to move the company, the valuation of the company crossed 650. So it was over 700 billion, and his incentive materialized. But shareholders revolted, saying, the current structure of the business cannot afford a 50 or 56 billion exit. So, or not really an exit, but a bonus of that or an incentive of that weight. They had not heard it before, not seen it before. So they became scared and they went to court. Court of Chancery held in their favor. And Elon didn't get at the time. But now in 2026, where this conversation is being, it's all over the place. The Supreme Court of Delaware had said, the man has worked for 6 years, so it would be unfair to not give him what he deserved. And so they reversed the Court of Chancery's decision. That's what we see, different dynamics, different structures for different companies. Yeah.
All right, with what you've said, does the same thinking exist here in Nigeria, or is it mainly something we see in Silicon Valley?
Of course. First off, Tesla Inc. has even moved from Silicon Valley. Their corporate headquarters, though, I think 2021, they moved to Austin in Texas. Yes. So, and then that's the first stuff. Secondly, we see it in Nigeria. Dangote refinery, Dangote group.
Dangote Industries Limited, the holding company, and then you have the
different subsidiaries.
Dangote Cement, Dangote Sugar, Dangote Petroleum Refinery, right? And you see that the structure, the way it is structured is that there's the Dangote Industries Limited, the holding company, and then it has the subsidiaries. And they grow individually on their own. They have their own ownership, their own management, and their own organization that helps them achieve their own objectives, right? And then we also have
Hales Holdings for you,
Hales Holdings too, which was established in 2010 rather, as an investment holding company, right? And the sole aim of it was to ensure that they invest in various economies or various industries and companies in Africa, across Africa. And so it was structured in such a way that it could be able to achieve that aim, right? And some of its acquisitions is, its earliest major acquisitions was Transcorp that was done in 2011. And then subsequently we have Heirs Energies, we have Heirs Insurance company. We have
Mhm,
UBA, we have United Capital, Transcorp Properties, and all of that. So they've been able to structure their business in such a way that they're able to meet up with the commercial purpose or the commercial objectives that they set out.
Okay, so excellent. Do you have anything to add to that?
Not really, just that while she was talking, I just thought about the fact that many times or few times businesses, they restructure or they have or pose these different dynamic structures based on their commercial intent. But other times, there's the regulatory upside to it, or there's the regulatory influence to it. For example, in the regulated sector like the financial services sector, you see different regulations guide the structure of the company. For example, the 2021 Payment Service Holding Company guidelines or regulation by the CBN for a company that operates either as an MMO, that's a mobile money operator, or as a switching and processing company. By the time they feel that, oh, we want to merge, or as an MMO, I want to diversify into operating a switching and processing company, for example, like InterSwitch, you have to set up a payment service holding company. You have to get approval from the CBN and set up a payment service holding company to do that. So it's not a commercial comfort or intense, it's not a comfort position, it's a regulatory position. Another example, the recent recapitalization that you were all conversant with. The banking sector was recapitalized, the insurance sector, the pension sector. So you see what CBN is doing with the financial services sector. For recapitalization, companies that are in this space, they have to restructure so that they can meet up regulatory obligations. So bringing PE investors, bringing institutional capital and all of that, just so that they can be compliant, stay compliant. So structuring sometimes is, oh, we are advancing to the next stage, or sometimes it's not even out of convenience. The regulators wake up one morning, turns out the regulation, you have to restructure to meet that regulation. Just like the exposure drafts, the recent exposure drafts just a few weeks back, CBN turned out a financial holding company revised exposure draft regulation, and it is not comfortable for most of these players in the industry. Why? Because we just bled. Let us breathe. They are just saying, allow us to breathe. Let us breathe. So they just finished recapitalization, and then you come back with their financial holding company should also be recapitalized. And now there are stringent metrics. A financial holding company from the exposure draft has to have at least 51%. So you see that there will be restructuring because of this regulation, not because they want to do it at this particular time. So they have to have at least 51%, they have to have at least 20% buffer. So this is like a lot. So while there's a part where she talked about the
commercial objectives,
their commercial objectives of the obligation, we're just chill. At this point, we have the money, we want to expand, we want to grow, we want to enter into other jurisdiction and all of that. There's the one that the regulators wake up and then say, tomorrow, this is how we want it to be, and you have to restructure. So I wanted to create that balance.
That'll actually be a lot. But so, should business owners and managers see restructuring as something positive rather than something to fear?
Of course. Restructuring is something positive. It shows that, oh, you're expanding, you're growing as a business, and then you have to take a step back and look at it that, oh, okay, now this structure that I currently have, if I decide to expand, if I decide to diversify into another industry, will this still work for me, or is it something that I'll need to change the whole structure? And for instance, we have the popular case of Kinder Morgan, right, which established a master limited partnership, and one of the structures in it was the incentive distribution rights. And this incentive distribution rights IDR enabled the general partner to have a percentage of whatever revenue they were getting. The more revenue they get, a certain percentage, the more percentage of that revenue that will come to them. So this incentivized them, this motivated them to want to do more business to ensure that they get more revenue, right? And that was the way it was structured. And this, of course, helped the business to grow. It expanded, it grew. But at a certain point, it realized that this structure can no longer work.
Yeah.
Why? Because institutional investors that wanted to invest would realize that when they invest, they would have to, when income is generated from the company, they would have to ensure that a certain percentage goes to the general partners for doing their job and as agreed in their contract, right? they will give a certain percentage to the general partners before they themselves will now get their own profits from the business. So instead of having maybe 100% of the profit that they've generated from the business, they would have to first maybe allow maybe 20% or 50% to go to the general partners, which means they could get more, but due to the structure of the business, they have to get lesser than that, right? So they had to restructure in 2014. They did a restructuring that had $76 billion, right? And they merged like 4 companies, the public entities. They merged it into one, and they took out the IDRs, that's the incentive distribution rights, which was what motivated them to go to that extent. But at that point, they saw that it's no longer working for our expansion plans anymore. So they had to just take it out. So yeah, restructuring based on wherever you are and whatever expansion motive you have to look at the structure. Does it fit or does it align with my goal, my next goal?
Okay, so I'd like to know, what are some of the signs that tell a business owner it may be time to review the structure of the business?
Well, I think that your vision first off. So every business has a vision. So you look at you go back, you have to at every point. So it's 2 ways. For the first one, you have to at every point go back to your drawing board. Oh, you've crossed stage 1 for where we are going, where we are at and where we are going now. Do we need to restructure? That's why advisors are really important, like legal advisors for regulations now. You can set up an entity and then find out that this entity is not even compliant. We had a client coming from Brazil to set up an entity in Nigeria, had already deployed everything in Nigeria before getting to know about us. While coming in, we did a legal audit of his company and found out that, oh, your company is not even compliant. The very structure that you're using to make money in Nigeria, you can be arrested for it because it was for the gaming sector. So the gaming sector, you have to have, for a foreign-owned gaming company, you have to have at least 15% local content requirements. So that itself was missing, and that company can be penalized for it. So legal advisory or having your advisors from your if you don't have a legal advisor, take this as a sign to get on today. So it's really important, because the very structure that you're using to make money can be taken away. So that's one for regulatory compliance. Another sign is, oh, you are expanding. For expansion, to bring in capital, your company has to be on point. In fact, there are some investors that you cannot attract. There's some institutional investors, there's some private equity, there's some HNIs that there's some foreign investors you can attract if your structure is not well positioned. And like we had earlier highlighted, ownership, organization, management. There is a company where we're domiciling from the Cayman Islands to Mauritius. Bringing them down to Mauritius, the rules or regulations or requisites that needed to go through was this. We're supposed to disclose UBOs, and the structure in which the company was built was such that UBOs were not out there. So it was difficult getting all UBOs that were linked to a particular shareholder. So it took a lot of time before all of this were done. If it were something that was properly structured from, even if you're using indirect ownership, we have documentation of all UBs already. So if we want to redomicile, if we want to do something, we just get content quickly and then we have the keepers. But before all those gatherings were done, it took months. It took months and it delayed domiciliation. So your vision is really important. What you are setting out to achieve is really important. Where you are at currently is really important. You need to take note of that. And so you're sure that, I'm going to the next stage now. I need to reevaluate if the structure that I'm currently operating at would
help me achieve
the future purpose or that for the next stage.
All right. Many business owners only involve legal advisors when there's a dispute or major transaction. So I'm asking this question based on what you've just said. At what point should business owners actually bring lawyers into the conversation?
I will not even let you finish that conversation.
As early as possible, even when you're just starting out. It could be even when you're starting out as a small business.
So no, that was
Good.
from the very
From
beginning.
the very
From the
beginning.
very beginning. From the
Because
very
eventually
beginning.
you don't want to just start a business and then at some point just stop it. It should just die. You will hope for growth, you hope for expansion, right? So from the beginning, you have to ensure that it's properly structured. Maybe if it needs to be registered, it to be registered, maybe have a business name as sole proprietor or whatever it is that you need. And if it's like maybe you want to just embark on a particular project or transaction, the structuring for that too would be different from maybe you just want to be a small business. So from the very beginning, then if you're expanding too, you have to review it again and you have to meet your legal advisors, apart from maybe other necessary advisors, but legal advisor is one of the things to ensure it abides by the regulatory, rules or regulations that are in that industry or that sector that you want to embark on.
For some companies, you need, for some sectors, you need your legal advisors on the team, you need financial advisors, you need technical advisors on the team. And to even be more direct, not all advisors are for every transaction. So if you ask, then there are different types for lawyers, and there are different types of lawyers. For example, I'm a financial and transactions lawyer. So I only come in for financial or transactional or commercial transactions. So when it's dispute resolution or litigation, different department, like for our firm, a different department handles that. For the corporate practice to a different. So specifically, you're bringing in capital, or you need the kind of lawyers you need are financial lawyers or lawyers with financial acumen. So your advisors are really important, and this is a sign for you to get one today. For you, I know that you don't have. I know.
So we're moving on to the last question. So if business owners and investors listening today remember one thing from this conversation, what should it be?
So for me, I would say what Excellent has said earlier: ownership, organization, management, and ensure you start doing it now. Start your structuring. Think about your structuring now, not tomorrow.
Well, what I would say is that for every stage of the business, just to like this, we got you. So why I say we got you, because many times you think that these conversations are just for big businesses. No, they are not. Oh, you feel that, but I can't afford legal services. I cannot afford financial services. It's not
small business.
Yeah, I'm just a small business owner. I'm just an SME. I'm just an SME. We actually have a structure for SMEs, like in our firm here, where we grow with SMEs. So what we do is that we set up, we advise you on the structure to set up. We even connect you to financiers. So you're not struggling at that stage. And then at growth stage 2, we do a lot of hand holding for SMEs. So if you're an SME out there listening to this conversation, this is your sign to reach out to us, actually. If you're an SME, then for businesses, growth businesses or businesses that are expanding, don't do it without advisors. No, don't do it without.
Don't wait till the regulators come and meet you and then find you.
As my last words, remember Paystack by Zap. Paystack by Zap was set up. They had done adverts. They were like, the technology was already ready to be deployed, and then CBN sent a memo and said, "Oh, you people are opening on Monday.
Oh, they are necklace.
Your setup is not compliant." So you have to bring down. So that is why that product wasn't launched. They had to go back to the drawing board after money had been. So investors had invested already. So you are an investor investing. Even investors investing to need legal advisors, because your legal advisor must have spotted that, a particular approval is supposed to have been gotten, but has not been gotten. Please don't put in your money yet until that approval has been gotten. So that's why I'm really big on advisory, because if you're not compliant, then the business may just be against you. So those are my last words. You and your advisor should be 5 and 6.
Structuring.
It's been really great having both of you join us on today's conversation. At least you've been able to drive the topic home to a non-lawyer, and they'll be able to relate with the conversation. And with that, we've come to the high point of today's conversation, and I believe you learned 1 or 2 from our conversation. And we want to say thanks to our guests.
You're welcome.
Excellent. So it was really a great time having both of you.
It was
with us on
nice
the
being
show.
here.
So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, bye.